Have you ever been told you don't belong somewhere when you literally own the place? This is the story of how an entitled Karen walked into my restaurant and demanded I be thrown out. How she assumed I was a homeless person loitering, and how the look on her face when I revealed I was the owner became the most satisfying moment of my entire career. My name is Marco. I'm 42 years old, and this is the story of the day a Karen tried to kick me out of my own restaurant. Let me tell you about my restaurant first, because understanding what I built will help you understand why what happened mattered so much. Bella Vista is an Italian restaurant in downtown. I opened it 12 years ago with money I saved working 3 jobs. Started as a dishwasher, worked my way up to line cook, then sous chef, then head chef, then finally owner. The restaurant is my life, my dream, everything I worked for. We're not fancy, not some Michelin star place, just good food, honest prices, warm atmosphere, the kind of place where regulars know your name and families celebrate birthdays. I'm there every day, cooking, managing, fixing things when they break. I don't sit in an office. I work the floor, talk to customers, make sure everything runs smoothly. Most days, I wear casual clothes when I'm doing paperwork. Jeans, t-shirt, sometimes an old hoodie. I don't look like what people expect a restaurant owner to look like. And that's where the problem started. It was a Tuesday afternoon, slow time, between lunch and dinner rush. I was sitting at a corner table working on invoices, calculator, receipts, paperwork spread out everywhere. I'd been there for about an hour, completely focused on the numbers, trying to figure out if I could afford to replace the walk-in cooler that had been making weird noises. The front door opened. A woman walked in. Mid-50s, expensive clothes, designer purse, hair and makeup perfect. That look of someone used to getting whatever they want. My hostess greeted her. "Table for one?" The woman looked around the restaurant. Her eyes landed on me, sitting in my corner with my paperwork and my old hoodie. She pointed at me. "Is that man a customer?" My hostess looked confused. "That's Marco. I don't care who he is. He looks like he's loitering. Does he even order anything? He doesn't need to order anything. The woman cut her off. "This is unacceptable. I came here for a nice lunch, and there's a homeless person taking up a table. I want him removed. Now." I looked up from my invoices, made eye contact with my hostess. She looked panicked, unsure what to do. I held up a hand. "It's okay," I mouthed. "Let me handle this." I stood up, walked over to the woman. "Excuse me," I said politely. "Is there a problem?" She looked me up and down with disgust. "Yes, you're the problem. This is a restaurant, not a shelter. If you're not ordering food, you need to leave." "I'm sorry you feel that way." "I don't feel that way. That's just how it is." "Now, are you going to leave, or do I need to call the manager?" I smiled. "Actually, I think that's a good idea. Let me get the manager for you." "Good." She crossed her arms triumphantly. I walked away, went to my office, changed into my chef's jacket, the one with my name embroidered on it, and Bella Vista owner underneath. Then I walked back out to the dining room. The woman was sitting at a table now, looking at the menu, completely oblivious. I approached her table. "Good afternoon. I'm Marco. I'm the owner of Bella Vista. I understand you had a complaint about someone loitering?" She looked up, saw my chef's jacket, saw the embroidered words. Her face went through several emotions very quickly. Confusion, realization, horror. You're the owner?" "That's right. I'm the person you just tried to have thrown out of my own restaurant." The entire dining room went silent. Other customers stopped eating. My staff stopped working. Everyone watching. I didn't know. "You were dressed like what? Like someone who doesn't deserve to be here? Like someone you can judge based on appearance?" She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. No words came out. Let me be very clear about something. In my restaurant, we don't judge people by how they're dressed. We judge them by how they treat others. And based on that standard, you're the one who doesn't belong here. But I'm a paying customer. Actually, you're not. Because I'm refusing service. I'd like you to leave. You can't do that. I absolutely can. This is my restaurant, and I decide who eats here. And people who treat my staff with disrespect don't make the cut. Her face turned red. This is discrimination. No, this is consequence. You discriminated against me based on my appearance, tried to have me removed from my own business, and now you're facing the results of that behavior. I'll leave a terrible review. I'll tell everyone how awful this place is. Go ahead. I'm sure people will be very interested to hear about how you tried to kick the owner out and got yourself banned instead. She grabbed her purse, stood up so fast her chair fell over. You'll regret this. Do you know who I am? Honestly, no, and I don't care. What I do know is that you're not welcome here anymore. She stormed out, slammed the door behind her. The entire restaurant erupted in applause, customers cheering, staff laughing. One regular actually stood up and gave me a standing ovation. My hostess came over. I am so sorry I didn't know what to do. You did perfect. Never apologize for that woman's behavior. The aftermath was immediate and overwhelming. One of the customers had filmed the whole interaction on their phone, asked if they could post it on social media. I said yes. Within hours, the video had thousands of views. By the next morning, over 1 million. By the end of the week, it had gone viral across multiple platforms. Comments poured in, mostly supportive. People sharing their own stories of being judged by appearance. Service workers relating to being treated poorly by entitled customers. Restaurant owners applauding me for standing up to abuse. The Karen from the video tried to control the narrative, left a scathing review on every platform, claimed I was rude, that I discriminated against her, that the restaurant was dirty, and the food was terrible even though she never ordered anything. But people saw through it. Every fake review she left got buried under hundreds of real reviews from actual customers defending me, sharing their positive experiences, calling out her behavior. Local news picked up the story, wanted to interview me. I did one segment, explained what happened, talked about the importance of treating service workers with respect. The news segment brought even more attention, more customers, more support. Business exploded after that. We went from a comfortable neighborhood spot to a destination restaurant. People came from all over the city, wanted to eat at the place where the owner kicked out the Karen. I had to hire 2 more servers, another cook, extended our hours because demand was so high. The regular customers loved it, said they were proud of me, that I'd done what they'd always wanted to do, tell an entitled customer exactly where to go. Other restaurant owners reached out, shared their own nightmare customer stories, thanked me for normalizing the idea that businesses can refuse service to people who are abusive. About 2 weeks after the incident, I got a phone call. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Is this Marco, the owner of Bella Vista? Yes. Who's this? My name is Patricia. I'm calling because I'm the mother of the woman who was in your restaurant 2 weeks ago. I tensed up. Okay, I saw the video, and I wanted to apologize, on her behalf, for how she treated you. I appreciate that, but she's the one who owes me an apology, not you. I know, and I've told her that. But she's too embarrassed to call, too proud to admit she was wrong. That's not my problem. You're right. It's not. But I wanted you to know that what happened has had an impact. She's been humiliated, lost friends. People at her country club saw the video. She's been asked to step down from several committees. I stayed silent. I'm not asking you to feel sorry for her. I just wanted you to know that there were consequences. Real ones. Good. Maybe she'll think twice before treating someone like that again. I hope so. And again, I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that treatment. Thank you. She hung up. I sat there thinking about it. The mother apologizing for her adult daughter. The public humiliation. The social consequences. Part of me felt vindicated. Justice served. The Karen faced real repercussions for her behavior. Part of me felt a little bit bad. Public shaming is brutal. Lives can be destroyed. But mostly I felt like I'd done the right thing. Because people like that need to learn. And sometimes humiliation is the only teacher that works. 6 months after the incident, the video is still circulating, still being shared, still racking up views and comments. The restaurant is thriving. We're booked solid most nights. Have a waiting list for weekend reservations. I've been asked to speak at restaurant industry conferences, to share my story, to talk about boundary setting with difficult customers. It's surreal. I went from quietly running my neighborhood restaurant to being known as the guy who kicked out the Karen. But the best part, the absolute best part, is the change I see in how people treat my staff. Customers are more polite, more patient, more appreciative, because they know we don't tolerate abuse. We don't accept disrespect, and we're not afraid to ask people to leave if they cross the line. My staff feels empowered, protected, valued. They know I have their backs, that I won't sacrifice their dignity for a customer's money. And that's worth more than any viral video, more than any amount of publicity. That's why I opened this restaurant, to create a place where people, both customers and staff, are treated with respect. Here's my question for all of you. If someone tried to have you kicked out of your own business based on how you looked, how would you handle it? Would you reveal your identity immediately? Or let them dig their hole first? Was I too harsh kicking her out? Or exactly right? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Not the asshole if you think I handled it perfectly. You're the asshole if you think I should have been more forgiving. Everyone sucks here if you think we both could have done better. No assholes. Here if you think this was just an unfortunate misunderstanding. And if you work in the service industry and have dealt with entitled customers, I see you. I've been there. You deserve better. Thanks for listening. Subscribe for more stories about entitled customers, standing up to abuse, and running a business with integrity. See you in the next episode. What I didn't tell you is what happened in the months after the video went viral, because that's when things got really interesting. 3 weeks after the incident, I arrived at the restaurant early one morning, wanted to prep for the day, get ahead on inventory. There was someone standing outside, waiting by the door. A woman. Not the Karen from before. Someone different. "Can I help you?" I asked. "Are you Marco, the owner?" "Yes. My name is Jennifer. I'm a reporter for the local newspaper. I'd like to do a feature story on you and your restaurant. I've already done interviews. I'm not sure there's anything new to say. This isn't about the viral video. Well, not just about that. It's about your journey. How you started as a dishwasher and built this place. The American dream angle." I hesitated. That sounds like a lot of attention. It is, but it's also an opportunity to tell your story on your terms. To show people who you really are beyond a viral moment. I thought about it. Okay, let's do it. The feature story ran 2 weeks later. Front page of the local section. Photos of me in the kitchen. Interview quotes about immigrant experience. About working 3 jobs. About the dream of ownership. The response was overwhelming. Letters to the editor praising me. Social media posts sharing the article. Even more customers coming to the restaurant. But the most unexpected response came from other restaurant owners. A dozen of them reached out, wanted to meet, to talk, to share experiences. We started meeting once a month, called ourselves the Restaurant Owners Alliance, talked about common challenges, difficult customers, staff issues, supply chain problems. At one meeting, a woman named Rosa shared her story. She'd had a similar Karen incident. Customer yelled at her staff. She asked the customer to leave. Customer sued her for discrimination. Did you win? I asked. Eventually, but it cost me $15,000 in legal fees and 6 months of stress. Other owners nodded, shared similar stories, the lawsuits, the fake reviews, the social media attacks, all from customers who felt entitled to abuse service workers. We need to support each other, I said. Maybe even create a database. Problem customers, serial complainers, people who file frivolous lawsuits. Share information so we can protect ourselves. Everyone agreed. We started building it. A private network. Restaurant owners helping restaurant owners. 4 months after the video went viral, I got another unexpected visit. This time from a man in an expensive suit. Mr. Marco, that's me. My name is David Chen. I'm a restaurant consultant. I work with establishments looking to expand. Franchise. Scale up. I'm not interested in franchising. Hear me out. Your restaurant has incredible brand recognition now. The viral video, the news coverage, the positive reviews. People know Bella Vista. They trust it. That's valuable. I'm just trying to run a good restaurant. And you do, but imagine 10 Bella Vistas, 20, all operating with the same values, the same quality, the same respect for staff and customers. I don't know. Think about it. You could create a restaurant empire built on dignity, on respect, on the principles that made this place special. He left his card. I put it in a drawer. Didn't think about it for weeks. 6 months after the incident, I was at the restaurant late one night, closing up, doing final checks, making sure everything was ready for tomorrow. Someone knocked on the glass door. I looked up. A woman standing outside. 50s. Professional clothes. Not the Karen. Someone else. I unlocked the door. We're closed. I know. I'm sorry to bother you, but I wanted to talk to you. My name is Amanda. I'm the woman from the video. I froze. The Karen? You're the Karen? Please don't call me that. But yes, that was me. What do you want? To apologize. In person. I've been trying to work up the courage for months. I didn't know what to say. Can I come in? Just for a minute? Against my better judgment, I let her in. We sat at the same corner table where I'd been doing paperwork that day. She looked different. Tired, less polished. The confidence was gone. I'm sorry, she said, for how I treated you, for the assumptions I made, for trying to have you thrown out. It was wrong. All of it. Why are you telling me this now? Because I've spent 6 months facing the consequences of my behavior. I lost friends. My position at the country club. My reputation. People recognize me from the video. Point at me. Whisper. I can't go anywhere without someone knowing what I did. I stayed quiet. And I deserve it. All of it. I was cruel. Judgmental. I treated you like you were less than human because of how you were dressed. That's inexcusable. Yes, it is. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I don't deserve forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I understand what I did wrong. And I'm trying to be better. How? I've started volunteering at a homeless shelter, serving meals, talking to people, learning their stories, realizing that every person has dignity, has value, no matter how they look or what they're wearing. That's good. I'm glad you're doing that. And I wanted to tell you something else. Your video changed me. Not just because I was humiliated, but because watching it back, seeing myself through other people's eyes, I realized how ugly I'd become, how entitled, how disconnected from basic human decency. I looked at her, really looked. She seemed genuine, broken, maybe, but genuine. I appreciate you coming here. That took courage. Does this mean you forgive me? I thought about it. Eventually, maybe, but not yet. Forgiveness has to be earned, not just with words, with sustained change over time. I understand. But I'll tell you this. The fact that you're here, that you apologized face to face, that you're volunteering and trying to change, that matters. That's more than most people would do. She nodded, tears in her eyes. Thank you for listening. She left. I sat there for a long time thinking about it, about redemption, about whether people can really change, about whether public humiliation leads to growth or just resentment. I didn't know the answer. Still don't. But seeing her broken and trying felt different than seeing her entitled and demanding. 1 year after the incident, Bella Vista was featured in a national food magazine, Best Neighborhood Restaurants in America. We made the list. The article mentioned the viral video, but mostly focused on the food, the atmosphere, the community we'd built. I framed the article, hung it in the restaurant, not out of ego, but as a reminder of how far we'd come, of what we'd built, of why it mattered. My staff threw me a celebration dinner, cooked all my favorite dishes, made toasts, shared memories, told me how proud they were to work here. That night, I realized something. The viral video wasn't the achievement. The recognition wasn't the success. The real success was this: a team of people who felt valued, customers who felt welcomed, a space where dignity and respect weren't negotiable. That's what I'd built, and no viral moment could take that away. 18 months after the incident, I got a call from David Chen, the restaurant consultant who'd pitched franchising. Have you thought more about expansion? Actually, yes, but not franchising. Something different. Tell me, I want to start a training program for people who want to get into the restaurant industry. Teach them cooking, management, how to treat staff, how to handle difficult situations. Create the next generation of restaurant owners who build businesses on respect. That's ambitious. It is. But the video proved something. People care about how businesses treat people. They want to support places that do it right. So let's create more of those places. He loved it. Helped me develop the concept, find funding, create curriculum. We launched the Bella Vista Restaurant Training Program 6 months later. 20 students in the first cohort, learning everything from knife skills to customer service to business ethics. And every single one of them heard the story of the Karen, not as entertainment, but as a lesson about boundaries, about dignity, about the importance of standing up to abuse without becoming abusive yourself. Now, 2 years after the viral video, life has settled into a new normal. The restaurant is still thriving, still packed, still home to the community that built it. The training program graduated its first class. All 20 students now working in restaurants across the city. 2 have already opened their own places. Amanda, the Karen from the video, still volunteers at the shelter. She's also become an advocate for service workers, speaks at conferences about her experience, about what she learned, about how to change. We're not friends. But we're not enemies either. She's proof that people can grow, can face their mistakes, can become better. And me? I'm still showing up every day. Still wearing jeans and a hoodie when I do paperwork. Still talking to customers. Still protecting my staff. Because that's what this place is. Not a viral moment. Not a fame machine. Just a restaurant where people, good people doing good work, are treated with the respect they deserve. So here's my final thought on all of this. Standing up to entitled behavior isn't about revenge. It's about boundary setting. It's about saying, this is how we treat people here, and this is how we don't. When you let entitled customers abuse your staff, you're not being professional. You're being complicit. When you kick out someone who's being abusive, you're not being petty. You're being protective. And when you go viral for it, that's not the goal. But if it happens, use it for good, to change the conversation, to empower others, to build something better. Thanks for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, hit subscribe. Share it with someone who works in service. Leave a comment about your own Karen encounter. And if you ever find yourself in my restaurant, know this: you'll be treated with respect. You'll receive excellent food and service. And if you treat my staff badly, you'll be asked to leave. Because some principles aren't negotiable. Ever. See you next time. Looking back now, 3 years after that Tuesday afternoon when everything changed, I realized the video was just a catalyst. The real story is what came after. The Restaurant Owners Alliance I mentioned, it grew. We now have over 200 members across 3 states. Monthly meetings turned into quarterly conferences. The problem customer database helps dozens of restaurants avoid serial complainers and professional lawsuit filers. Last month, we helped a small family-owned Mexican restaurant fight back against a customer who'd sued 4 different establishments in 2 years. Always the same pattern: eat a full meal, claim to find something wrong, demand a refund. When refused, file a lawsuit. We provided documentation, patterns, evidence. The case was dismissed. The serial filer was exposed, and that family restaurant was saved from bankruptcy. That's the power of community, of restaurants supporting restaurants, of refusing to let entitled behavior win. The training program I started, it's expanded too. We just opened a second location, partnered with a local community college to offer accredited courses. Last year, 87 students graduated. This year, we have 134 enrolled. And here's the best part. The curriculum includes mandatory modules on workplace dignity, on handling difficult customers, on setting boundaries without being cruel. Every student learns the Karen story, but they also learn about power dynamics, about how to de-escalate, when to be firm and when to be flexible, the difference between a customer having a bad day and a customer being abusive. Several graduates have told me that module changed their careers, gave them language and tools they'd never had before, made them better managers, better leaders, better humans. One student, Maria, told me the story inspired her to open her own restaurant with a zero-tolerance policy for staff abuse. She's been open 6 months now. Business is thriving. Staff turnover is virtually zero, because people want to work somewhere they're protected. The consultant, David Chin, became a good friend. He helped me navigate the expansion, the training program, the media attention. Never pushed franchising again. Just supported the vision I had, creating more spaces of dignity. Last year, he nominated Bella Vista for a National Restaurant Award. Not for food, for workplace culture. We didn't win, but we were finalists. And that recognition brought even more attention to the idea that how you treat staff matters as much as what you serve. Amanda, the Karen from the video, continued her journey. 2 years of volunteering turned into a full-time position at the homeless shelter. She runs their job training program now, helps people re-enter the workforce, teaches interview skills, resume writing, how to present yourself. She called me 6 months ago, asked if I'd be willing to speak to her clients, share my story, show them that someone once judged me for my appearance too, that you can overcome that judgment and build something meaningful. I said yes. Standing in that shelter, telling my story to people who've been dismissed and dehumanized their entire lives, I realized something. The viral video wasn't about revenge. It was about visibility, making the invisible seen, giving voice to people who are usually silenced. After my talk, several shelter residents approached me, thanked me, said they'd felt invisible their whole lives, that seeing someone stand up to that invisibility gave them hope. One man, probably in his 60s, tears in his eyes, said I spent 30 years being looked through. Like I wasn't there. Like I didn't matter. Your video reminded people that we're human, that we deserve respect. Thank you. That moment meant more than any viral view count, more than any magazine feature, more than any award nomination. That was the point. That was why it mattered. My staff, the core team that was there the day of the video, they're all still with me. Every single one. In an industry with 70% turnover, that's unheard of. My hostess, the one who didn't know what to do when Karen first complained, she's now my assistant manager. Runs the floor like a pro. Handles difficult customers with grace and firmness. She told me recently that working at Bella Vista changed her life. That before this job, she'd been in toxic workplaces where customers abused her and managers did nothing. Where she felt powerless and small. Now she feels valued, protected, empowered to set boundaries. That's my real success. Not the viral video, not the expansion, the people, the lives changed, the dignity restored. I've been asked dozens of times if I regret how I handled that day, if I'd do it differently. The answer is always no. Could I have been kinder? Maybe. Could I have explained more patiently? Possibly. But Karen didn't come to me with curiosity or openness. She came with judgment and entitlement. She demanded I be removed from my own space, treated me as less than human. And sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for everyone involved is set a hard boundary. Is say no, this behavior ends now. That protects your staff, shows them they matter, teaches everyone watching that abuse won't be tolerated. And yes, it protects the Karen too. Because sometimes public accountability is the only thing that creates change. Amanda is proof of that. She didn't change because I was nice to her. She changed because she faced real consequences. Because humiliation forced self-reflection. Because hitting bottom was the only way she'd climb back up. So here's what I want you to take away from this story. If you work in service, know this. You don't have to accept abuse. You don't have to smile through disrespect. You have the right to dignity. And if your employer doesn't protect that right, find a better employer. If you're a business owner, your staff is your greatest asset. Protect them. Stand up for them. Set boundaries with customers. The customers you lose will be the ones draining your energy anyway. The customers you keep will respect you more. And if you're a customer, remember that service workers are humans. They have bad days. They make mistakes. They deserve patience and kindness. And if you can't treat them with basic respect, maybe order delivery instead. 3 years later, the video still gets shared, still sparks conversations, still inspires people to stand up to entitled behavior. And Bella Vista, still here, still serving good food, still creating space where everyone, from customers to staff to the owner in a hoodie doing paperwork, is treated with dignity. That's the legacy I want. Not viral fame. Just a place where respect isn't negotiable. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've made it this far, you're the kind of person who values these principles too. Subscribe if you want more stories about standing up to entitlement, about building businesses with integrity, about creating the world we want to live in, one boundary at a time. And next time you're in a restaurant, say thank you to your server. Tip well. Treat them like the humans they are. They'll remember it. Trust me. See you next time.